I'm going to make this quick. No. No. The expansion pass is not worth it. It is really not worth it. Let's talk about something here. There's a fundamental change going on at Nintendo where the perceived value for what you get has gone down. There's definitely a sea change of people that have been there. Like, people have been there for the entire time since the NES and stuff. They're leaving, they're gone, they're retiring, and new people are coming in, and they have different ideas and opinions on things, and they probably grew up with like free-to-play games and microtransactions and stuff. And let's just talk about one thing real quick. Pokemon Unite. Now, I know that's more of a Pokemon company thing and not a Nintendo thing, but it's on the Nintendo platform. And they're allowing that company to do a microtransaction for a skin for $40. You want to tell me how $40 is a microtransaction? And ever since the days of games like this, Nintendo games, original NES, Super Nintendo, N64, whatever, platform holders like Nintendo have what's called a licensing fee. That's typically 30%. That licensing fee, by the way, it goes into the cost of some things. Now, if we take another party out there, which is PC gaming, but like Valve. Valve's gotten a lot of flack for charging 30% for games being hosted on their service. But here's the deal. If you look at what they're spending it on, they're developing things like the Steam Deck, like the Steam controller. They're developing things like Proton with that money, which is a translation layer that allows Windows games to work on Linux. Which is really important, I think, because Linux is an open system. I think PC should be about openness, and it seems like it's closing itself off more and more every day, and I have real concerns about that. When you have things like just their online infrastructure, because they do host online servers and stuff like that, and they're able to do that, and they don't charge you an additional cost for it. You just buy games on Steam, and then you just get the online service. And I truly and wholeheartedly believe that this is the way that a lot of these platform holders, including, and if anybody, Nintendo, with their current state of their online service, it should be free. Keep in mind that we pay money to get connected with our friends online now, but we can't actually talk to them or anything like that. I can't send a message to them in any other way besides my phone, and Nintendo might think, that's fine, you have your phone, you just send a message to them. No, I want something that notifies them that I sent a message on their screen while they're playing, because you know what happens 9 times out of 10? I see that like Dave or somebody like that's online and they're playing a game, and I want to like, hey, you want to play a couple rounds of Mario Kart? I might send them a message on the phone through like Twitter or something like that. You know what happens? They get done playing and then they look at their phone and they're like, oh, they sent me a message, because they're so engrossed in what they're doing over here. That's why it's important to have features like that. And that feature was in the Wii. You could send text messages and letters to your friends on the Wii, but we can't do it. And that was a free online service, and we can't do it for $20 now. So adding like an additional $30, and the only things you're adding are N64 and Genesis games, and a lot of them you can get for $20 anyways and actually own them instead of them being a subscription service. Now, I don't really have a problem with Nintendo making retro games a subscription-based thing. It kind of makes sense. But why is it tied to the online thing? And at the end of the day, even if it was a subscription-based thing, does 10 N64 games, I think it's like, 12 Genesis games, and no promise of like, releases. It's like, we release them when we're ready to. We have no timeline or anything like that for it. And no real extra features. Is that really worth anything? Does that seem like that's a good value to you? I don't think so. I would argue if you really want to like throw your money into retro stuff, then just buy the old systems, buy the carts, do it that way, because at least this is yours, you own it, you can sell it back, or you could keep dumping your money into Nintendo for no real features, a couple games. They might release new games here and there every once in a while, but they're not going to tell you when. It's up to them to when. I might have to wait for them to release F-Zero X for like 2-3 months, or if I really wanted to play it that bad and just go out and get an N64 and F-Zero X. Yes, it's more expensive, but there's more freedom in that choice. And that's kind of my whole point here. And on top of that, there's certain things in that freedom that you can do that you'll just never see on the Nintendo Online service. For instance, this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3: The Manhattan Project. With all the licensing and things going on and all that involved with this, you will never see this on this platform, ever. Nintendo would have to up the cost even more to get licensed stuff like this on there. And it's out there and it's available, and this is how you can play it. So, and then there's other things like emulation. I hate to say it, but it's not like some of this stuff is hard to find on the internet. It's been on there for years, and is it really worth it? I mean, it's pretty obvious, and people pretty much proved that Nintendo's just downloading the ROMs for these things off of the internet anyways, because they all have like the iNES headers and stuff like that in them. So anyways, I've had good memories on the Nintendo Online service. Splatoon and Mario plays pretty well. I've had very little problems with it, but I can't get behind this, and I'm not spending the extra $30 for just games. At least call it what it is. It's a subscription service for retro games. It's not an online thing. And before I take off, let me give you some food for thought right here. Remember when the Game Boy Advance came out with the newer backlit screen? Did that cost anything extra than what the Game Boy SPs already cost? Like, they drive up in value now because there's not as many of them out there, but did Nintendo charge anything extra for that? No. And they literally just did the same thing with the Switch with the OLED display. Yet you have to pay $50 extra for that. Just saying. The mentality at Nintendo is changing. And I think it's something we have to be cautious with, and we definitely have to vote with our wallets and let them know that this kind of stuff is not okay. Like, the reason I always liked Nintendo was the value proposition. But now it seems like they've learned how to cash in on their nostalgia, and they've just learned how to cash on their namesake. I mean, I understand they're a business and they have to make money, but come on. Like, if we allow them to do this now, how's it going to be in the future? So, I don't know. I'll be okay. I'll have my retro games, I'll have my retro systems, and I will be there and be perfectly happy playing that stuff. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Does this matter to you? Do you care? Do you think it's that big of a deal? I do. I definitely see a sea change going on.